Madison here. Madison does well. It was her cross that led to the Lucan goal in the first 5 minutes of this game.
And speaking to Jim Millender during the week, was saying Micaiah Madison was absolutely on fire last weekend in those 2 victories, really putting the defenders under pressure, but also, I believe, on the start of those assists to Samantha Jennings.
Looking to clear, this is Meg Twite. Step over and being able to play. Thomas goes to ground. Restart here for Harvard.
And this being a Sunday game, we're not seeing the liveliness that we see out of the Friday matches, do we, Charles?
No, and we talk about this every broadcast, but it's very hard to put together a back-to-back, which is the 1 day of rest. It's hard for some of these kids that are growing up and in between the ages of 17 to 23, 24 to be able to play 2 matches at the highest level on a Friday and then a Sunday, or a Thursday and then a Saturday. Jennings, great work here. Overlapping.
Harvard here is traveling from across the country, so it's no easy task. It's not as fast as the Friday games, but it will build up.
Out of the back, Villegas finding the feet of Kelsey. Kelsey looks up and finds Jennings on the run. That's a fine ball. Jennings. Can she put a good ball in? A good service. Cut out, though, by Lydell, the center back. Onto the feet of Madison, though. There's something here for San Francisco as Harvard tries to clear. And they do.
Madison just did not get that angled pass off. Unfortunately, it was a square ball intercepted quite easily by Harvard.
Now, this is Trinity Thomas, who seems to be popping up in lots of space for this Harvard Crimson side. San Francisco side to do this. For women's soccer and this program. That's why Jim Millender was brought into this as well. If you're just joining us, it is 1-0 in favor of San Francisco. The opening goal scored by Izzy Lucan off of the cross from Micaiah Madison in the first 5 minutes of this game. Out of the back now is Kallmeyer. It's stolen in central midfield by Maria Di Martinez. And now on for Leah Mohammadi, the senior. Probably expect to see a lot go through her feet today program thrive. A very successful program, as we just told you moments ago, a program that's used to getting into the NCAA tournament, much like what this San Francisco side would like to do one day. And that's why Jim Millender plays against sides like this, to be able to potentially have that. Now this is Thomas. She does well. She looks up and she has it go from distance. Didn't quite get around that by Thomas, but again, she has been very lively for this Harvard side and seems to have the ball stick to her foot a lot, and her teammates do find her
she's going to be even more dangerous because she is very strong to her right.
Ball sent in, it's Madison. Collected nicely by the goalkeeper, Etzel.
Fantastic cross by Izzy Lukin. She has a real knack to get down the left wing and cross that with her strong left foot.
Harvard has a bit of a goalkeeping competition going on between Daniel Etzel and the junior Kat Hess. So both of those two kind of shared the goalkeeping responsibilities last year. Etzel clearly the number one today. We'll have to see if Hess does get some time, but it is something that Chris Hamlin has been kind of tinkering with in his time. And last year, at the end of the year,
and in the years past, they haven't always played this way because they might not have personnel. But again, going back to Jim Millender's confidence in his new young, talented recruits, he's going to play this free-flowing football, preferably through their center midfielders around the back. They're going to be patient as they are now and try to find those open channels as they exist.
brought down here by Taylor Nielsen over the head of Kallmeyer. Can Twite get there for Harvard? Kallmeyer does well. This is Lukin, all the way back to Kallmeyer. It's a composure in her step, but now
for a strike like that again. Good strike on goal.
Villegas, long ball over the top. Can Micaiah Madison get there? Oh, she almost fools the defender herself. Kind of dummied through the ball on a interesting roulette.
You could say that.
This is Thomas, keeping possession nicely. And again, we just talked about her earlier, but now this is Nielsen. She's on her horse. Far side twice. A bit of a misstep on the pitch by Mohammadi. It's an organic sand, so we'll have to watch that. This is Nicole Kelsey trying to whip in the ball from that right back position. Kelsey for Madison, top of the area. Madison's shot takes a ricochet off a defender there in Dopke, and a throw-in. This is Jennings. Jennings in the corner. Out of the back, this is Jillian Wachera, the freshman as well. Wachera for Trinity Thomas. Both freshmen on this left side, by the way. Madison, still on her feet. Hear the clapping of the Harvard Crimson fans.
Two.
Interesting to note that Murphy Agnew, who was the Ivy League Rookie of the Year last year for this Harvard side, is not in the team in this opening starting 20 minutes or so. Not sure if it's an injury or potentially it's a coaching decision, but she scored quite a few goals last year for this Harvard side. In fact, according to Harvard statistics, 81.3% of its scoring.
Wow. It's a little lopsided.
So, quite the statistic.
Well, sounds like a strong player.
She had 4 goals, 13 points, and Mohammadi had 4 goals as well. So those two, when they're both in the side, clearly can inflict some damage. No out of the back, this is Lydell. Still Lydell on her feet. Now, nudged off the ball is Kat Hill. Trinity Thomas again, who for me has been one of the best players on the field for this Harvard side. And the overlapping left back, Wachera. Here she is, and she slips. Nothing really in that there, but Trinity Thomas, she's onside. Trinity Thomas from distance!
Yeah.
And again, had to go on the turn. I wasn't sure if she set herself, but that's the best move of the game for the... Trying to will her side back into this one. Smithers on for Lucan.
And you see USF continue to have space on the width, especially on the left side there with Izzy Lucan, trying to really attack that space.
Lucan, left side. First diagonal ball on the first touch, looking for Jennings and finds her, but a bit out of position. Jennings. And now Kallmeyer, back to the feet of Lucan. They're not the best of services down that sideline. I get the feeling that USF has kind of switched off just a tad here, and this Harvard team growing more and more and more in for a throw-in. 3 changes for San Francisco. And 2 for Harvard. We'll just give you those in just a second. Michaela Mercado on for San Francisco. Jordan Di Vierno now in the match as well for San Francisco. And Murphy Agnew in the side now for this Harvard team. The player that won Rookie of the Year last year. Now Jennings goes to ground, shouts by Jennings potentially for a penalty, but on for Micaiah Madison. This is just the kind of run she would like.
Kind of showing her fatigue there a little bit. Micaiah Madison looking over the bench. You may see a substitution in here for Micaiah Madison in the not so distant future. That was a very good ball. Too bad she couldn't have done more with it.
This is Thomas looking for Agnew, and cut out here by the freshman Cat Hill, who is dispossessed. Agnew, it's a great ball. It's over the top for Harvard. And out comes Camera in a 50-50 challenge. Play on, says the referee, though. She's down on the ground. Up on her feet there.
Which is always a good sign.
It was an open goal for San Francisco as DiVierno also maintained possession, got it to the end line, and tried to swerve it back on in.
Yes, fantastic play on both ends.
Sylvia Sloss now in the match for San Francisco. And she replaces Samantha Jennings. Away, and there's George with the first touch. Played on in here though for the Danger Woman Murphy Agnew. Agnew for Trinity Thomas. That is a dangerous partnership, the sophomore and the freshman combining there.
Yeah, they look sharp.
And you can already tell that Murphy Agnew, who didn't start this game, is really quite a special player, picking out just 2 quick passes, both on the 50-50 challenge we saw moments ago, but again, to the feet of Thomas. This is Etzel looking to find Diegas. Looking to find Michaela Mercado. Mercado, who very much has been in and out and back in and back out of this San Francisco side as a central midfield player. Especially last year. Now, Murphy Agnew by herself. Agnew, who lays off for one of her teammates. Kind of get the feeling there were 4 San Francisco players closing in on Agnew, but she had plenty of space at the top of the 18 to have a go. I'm unsure why.
And you can see that final. Attack. She's not just staying in the defense. She's attacking when the opportunity presents itself.
Madison. Still Madison, and her shot just goes wide. Substitutions as well coming for San Francisco. Jim Miller almost changing his full side, except for the center back pairing, the goalkeeper, the defensive central midfield players.
As we call it, the spine of the defense. It's very difficult to change that unless you really have to as a coach.
Michelle Feinberg in the match. In central midfield for this San Francisco side, as well as Samantha Kerwood Wagner. Marlowe, top of the area. Kerwood Wagner. These are all freshmen, by the way, for San Francisco.
Stain. Right now, only at Lowe's.
Do it.
Band for 5 years. I played the flute and the saxophone. And I absolutely loved it. I wanted to be a musician, and then it's a hobby now. It's like a pastime, but I love music.
Bring out your color with the style and protection of new Valspar Stain. This is stain changing. Get big savings on Valspar Stain right now, only at Lowe's.
What's the Strongman?
It's a pea protein
What is it? The iHeartRadio app. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all in one place.
Welcome back to Nego-Esco Stadium. Charles Bowl and Joe Dugan with you. And we're back here live at the home of USF Soccer, Nego-Esco Stadium. 3 miles away from the Pacific Ocean. Joe Dugan, my broadcast partner, got a chance to catch up with Jim Millender just at the halftime break. Here we go.
Twenty, 25 minutes territorially, they were better. But when you make changes, the players that come on the park, they have to lift the game up too and maintain it. So they've got to do a better job, and we've just got to play better the second half. That's all.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And back to Charles in the booth. In anticipation of the 3 p.m. men's kickoff.
Second half between these two sides. The opening goal was scored by Izzy Lukin, and the provider was Micaiah Madison, the junior. Here she is on the ball, and it was in the first 5 minutes of this first half. And then after that, Joe, I mean, it was pretty 50-50 between the two sides, and kind of has that NCAA turn. Now, all the way back to camera. And now into the feet of Villegas, who was out of position earlier and just trotted the ball all the way up almost to central midfield, and then she slipped. So, all to do here in the second half, really, for, well, not really, for Harvard. They were knocking on the doorstep for most of this first half, and had the better of the opportunities, other than the goal for San Francisco. And so
defense off their toes, which she nearly did there. Getting the goalie off her line.
Well, that was a really nice attacking foray by the Harvard Crimson. Excuse me. And it was set up again by the reigning Ivy League rookie of the year, Murphy Agnew. We talked about kind of her touches in the first half, and we really sung her praises, but that nice little touch to find her teammate Thomas in that center forward position was brilliant.
Well, if you would rate a player on the number of times you talk about them, I think Murphy Agnew would have it A+ so far.
Now is his Twite. Twite has Agnew running with her. Twite hauled down by Izzy Lukin. I think the yellow card is certainly coming
very nice strike-on goal earlier in the year in the game, so I think she can hit this goal from here. Let's see if she goes for a shot or a cross there at the 18 for the oncoming Harvard attackers.
2 in the wall for San Francisco. It is Mohammadi from distance, and it is wide. Madison. Here she is. Again, it's Cat Hill. And now Beth Ann Perry trying to get in there.
A little push by the USF Dons. Free kick out for Harvard. You never really tell which way the wind's going until you look at the flags because it's constantly changing.
This is Twite. Twite. One of her teammates.
Offsides by Harvard. Free kick for the USF Dons.
On for Lukin. Lukin, the through ball for Madison. It looks like Lukin and Madison have switched sides momentarily. Now on for Samantha Jet. Competition between the two is going on, and so the goalkeeper is the junior in Kat Hess.
Well, what's more interesting is that the switch is made at halftime. Now you think, well, that's when substitutions could be made, but not as a goalie. It's very difficult to come into halftime as a goalie, whether you're one up or one down. It's a very
on that, but at the same time, she was able to maintain and use her body well.
Well, it was a good idea. It was wide. It was to an open player. Little miscommunication, I think, didn't make that happen.
Lucan again. Everything seems to be going through her feet in this second half. On for Nicole Kelsey.
Was a WCC all-conference player.
Goalkeeper has to come out there. A 50-50 challenge from our position that didn't look to be too challenging, but again, the goalkeeper comes out and throw in for San Francisco. Now, this is Agnew. And a great challenge at the last minute there by Villegas on Agnew. And it's going to be a goal kick. Guess it may have come off Agnew, and Agnew looks a little surprised herself. Cahill out of the back for Madison. Again, she switched sides from the right to the left. And I guess Jim Millender probably wants to get her back on her right foot. Free kick now to San Francisco in this second half. Just around 32 minutes to go. Almost played our initial first 15. Madison for her teammates. Smithers, Madison, in a pocket of space and just waiting for the ball is Weeks. And Madison looking to try to get the ball to her and can't find that little pocket. Now Weeks on her feet, still Weeks. This is a great run. Carly Weeks. Throw in now.
And then you can see that buildup is kind of exemplary of what Jim Millender was talking about at halftime. Very inconsistent passing, very few consistent passes
And then Lucan drops her shoulder. All the way back to Kohlmeyer in the back line. Cleared away. Top of the 18. This is Agnew. You can tell San Francisco wants to push for that second. Harvard is kind of okay and keen to play on the counterattack, but giving the ball away like that. Trinity Taylor, Thomas. Brought down, though, here by Kamaya Cole. And now once more on for Meg Twite.
You can see the urgency or the little pep in the step from Harvard, really trying to... And again, she needs the ball more at her feet. She can't be expected to run onto everything.
Kohlmeyer looks up and finds Madison. Madison now. Good stuff this by Madison as she dribbles the ball over the sideline.
I think Madison's a little tired. I think if you look back at the last 4 or 5 plays, she's unfortunately been depossessed every single time.
Granted, this San Francisco side lost 5-1 to national champion Stanford on Friday evening. They were able to tie it up 1-1 just around 30 minutes into the first half, and all of a sudden there was a barrage of goals in the second half by Stanford. So that is the one loss that San Francisco does have on their resume. And every year they seem to play Stanford, and every year, of course, that one is up for debate.
Third here.
This is Weeks. Weeks maybe wanted to have a go there. Nicole Kelsey from distance. Why not?
You know, not a bad idea. She had an opportunity to open channel. Very well laid off by, was that Izzy Lucan?
It was Izzy Lucan.
And just unfortunately did not put the shot on goal, on frame, as they say.
Michaela Mercado to make her entrance in to the second half for San Francisco for Beth Ann Perry, who has been kind of quiet in this second half.
Well, USF really, again, not to beat a...
Here's Jennings, and now Kohlmeyer. There's Mohammadi chasing. And camera all the way out. and has a nice swing.
Right into the Harvard fan club.
Going back to goalkeeper Kat Hess. Jennings chases. Bit of a lazy ball there. For Chamberlain Mathis, that's now in the game on the left side. For Harvard in this second half. A sophomore from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Have been very impressive at the center back spots. Kat Hill wearing the captain's band, mind you. There's 3 of them out there. Her, Jennings, and of course Smithers that we had spoken about moments ago. But a center back freshman captain, that is something that, you know, is unheard of. Been pretty impressed with Kat Hill today and her performance alongside, of course, Villegas, but that is an impressive defeat.
And on the other side of the coin, when I earlier said how often players' names are mentioned, it shows how active they are in the game. Well, with Kat Hill as a defender, we haven't mentioned her that much because she's been so steady. And she hasn't had to make really strong plays or come in and save the day. She's organized her defensive line and the midfielders in front of her very well.
Mohammadi is withdrawn here for Harvard. And the substitute on the field now for the Harvard Crimson.
A little bit more defensive, and how do you do that? So they have to adjust. Question is, are they communicating enough? Are they moving together as a team enough?
Here is Villegas. Jennings. Jim Millender chop change in his side in this second half to manage the game, as you had said, Joe, to just kind of see the game through. That's really what they have to do now. And if they can get a second, they can get a second, but time is not on Harvard's side, and time continues to click down on the San Francisco end, as they have been in control in this second half possession-wise. There is one that one chance for Harvard, but again, possession-wise, San Francisco is controlling the match.
And a lot of these substitutes. Yeah, she's got a dynamic presence about her, Weeks does. She just needs to find more of her teammates in and around her so she can feed off them and they can feed off her.
Here, Jim Millender asking his teammates to win back possession. Excuse me, his team to win back possession.
Well, they're all a team, Charles.
Ouch. Sloss and a left back Wachira in it now. This is Twite. Twite in the corner. So we've just got around 20 minutes to go. 1-0 in favor of San Francisco. This is Kerwood Wagner. Stuck to her foot.
Very active player, playing under. Seems to be playing under the highest forward, which we call the number 9. Doing quite a good job, like I said. Like to see her connect with some of those wider players more often. Give her more of those chances that she just took.
Substitutions here for Harvard. And now back in the game is Thomas and Agnew. Those two potentially can combine here in this final 18 minutes and 50 seconds or so.
Well, if we were betting men, would you say there's another goal or two in this game, Charles?
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially. What kind of answer is that?
I'm not sure. It's the answer to your question, Joe Dugan, sometimes.
You used to be indecisive, but now you're not sure.
I'm incredibly indecisive, Joe.
Well, let's see. I hope there is. Harvard's certainly hoping there is.
And Kelsey wins it back with Smithers. And now Teufel. She does really well, Teufel. Referee says, get up. Look at Autumn Smithers just win back possession there. Mark of a good leader.
And that's the service they're looking
Kerwood
for.
Wagner. Look at the hold-up play by Kerwood Wagner, the freshman.
And that's exactly her role in this offense.
Kerwood Wagner looking for Mercado. Smithers, Mercado. This is brilliant stuff by Smithers. And now Teufel by herself. Lots of space and time. Teufel, they're all lining up in the queue. It's Wee!
in 2 Dons goals.
Well, that was heartbreak for Harvard there as they're pushing for another goal. Here's Cat Hill out of the back. She's got to be careful. They're sending a lot of numbers at her. Falling to the ground is Mohammadi. One back here by Twite. Mohammadi again on the sideline for her teammate D. Martinez.
And Weeks coming in from nowhere to break up that play. And you can see the Dons getting caught with the ball at their feet a lot. The speed of play really needs to improve, and I think that's something that Jim Millender and his staff will be working on during the week. Anytime you have a new team, you're still gelling, but the speed of play against better teams needs to improve.
Kerwood Wagner chasing against the goalkeeper. In Kat Hess. Just around 15 minutes to go. Who sent that cross in for the goal. It's Teufel still at the save made by the goalkeeper, Kat Hess. Teufel has been brilliant on that right side replacement for Micaiah Madison to give her some time. Very, very impressive winger. Now, this is Twite for Agnew. Agnew being chased there by Emily Pye. And still Agnew across the face of goal. And goal kick now.
Agnew really teeing that ball up for her teammate who just could not get on the end of it. Fortunate for the Dons. And here's the cross. Just too far off for the Harvard attacking player to
Just around 13 minutes to go now in this second half. Second crucial goal scored by Weeks in this second half at Negoesco Stadium. Packed stands for the home opener for the 2018 women's soccer program, live at the University of San Francisco. A very big year for this women's soccer program. Lots of recruits. Jim Millender calling it his best recruiting class. And it really all comes down to conference play, but also on the women's side, different than the men's side. This non-conference play really does count because the West Coast Conference sends a plethora of teams usually into the tournament, as there's a lot of respect by the nominating committee from the NCAA. And so, can the Dons be one of those 3 or 4 teams that makes it in? Now, Teufel. It's great stuff again by Teufel. It's her third or fourth penetrating, attacking run on the wing. One of them, of course,
a lot of danger for the Harvard defense.
Out of the back, this is Lydell. Lydell looking for her teammate who is offside.
And that was a very nice look by Lydell, trying to slot the Dons defense in ever so close of an angle. But with this turf being so fast, regardless of being offsides, that ball was clearly going to be unplayable.
Here is Teufel again. She is just having a great second half out there, and what just wins a excuse me, I thought for a second she won a corner, but the referee assistant on the far side, his flag was blowing up in her teammate Sloss. Here's Sloss on this left side. She finds something. Jim Milliner really preaching his wingers to go one-on-one and asking and allowing them to do so. Here's Smithers, dispossessed by Trinity Thomas, but wins it back. She's played the entire match thus far, including the center back pairing. And rather Pye back there now with the substitute for Villegas. 10 minutes left now on the clock. Pye for Kelsey, overlapping player. Madison and Lucan to make their way back into the match. Or rather, actually not Desiree Major. On the field.
And you can see Harvard playing a little bit more direct, trying to get that ball forward, trying to get in the box to maybe grab a goal here.
Jaden Tamayo in the match for San Francisco, wearing the number 7 shirt, and stadium announcer making a small mistake, announcing that as Desiree Major now in the match. Plethora changes. Michelle Feinberg now in the game for Michaela Mercado. Tamayo, a local product from San Jose. Our long-awaited debut here at Negoesco Stadium with 8 minutes to go. On words here for Teufel, who's offsides.
Dawn's really playing a nice attacking brand of soccer, all on the ground, all to feet, combining with multiple players, finding those holes in the Harvard defense. Unfortunately, just offside. A little bit maybe too eager, Charles.
And Perry with that through ball there for San Francisco. Now into the feet of Taylor Nielsen. Nielsen down the field for Thomas, who really has done very well today for this Harvard team, but not a goal to her name. She's had a couple of chances, and maybe one or two of them could have gone in, but she's in the right place at the right time, the freshman, and she has made an impact for her side, even though they are trailing 2 goals. Pye marshals it out for a throw. And now throw in for Harvard, far side. This is Smithers. Now into the feet of Beth Ann Perry, who's been quite the silent, defensive, and attacking playmaker today. And a bit of a debate in the crowd between the Harvard fan club, as you say.
Replay, shielding the ball from the Dons. Not a ton in that. I don't really see the foul, but I'm not the referee, and the play goes on.
This is Nielsen. Now Pye with a great header to maintain possession for San Francisco. Jaden Tamayo at that left back spot. Needs to be sure of herself there. Loses her footing. Mohammadi into the area. It's Agnew. Falls for Wachira, the freshman.
And they haven't been doing that really well, putting them in a precarious position.
Tamayo. This is Agnew for Mohammadi. And it's off the underside of the bar. And they have given the goal. He's given it.
And let's see if we can see that on replay. Let's call our own VAR and see if it crosses the line. So, unfortunately, missed tackle for the USF Dons. Agnew crosses it, and certainly it looks like it was a goal.
Well, Mohammadi with the goal. Agnew provider, Mohammadi scorer. 3 minutes and 56 seconds to go. So strap into your seatbelt and put the tray table up. Make sure that your seat is up in the upright position here. as we could be in for a bit of a grandstand finish, as Harvard needs to get another one. And currently, that Weeks goal stands potentially as the winning goal. In this Harvard side that has played really well today, but finally getting their goal here in the last 5 minutes.
Well, it's a great atmosphere with full house, the two men's teams watching as they get ready to take the field for their 3 o'clock kickoff. Real good feel to this atmosphere here.
So Hess out of the back. She's got to be careful. Lukin with a lot of pressure.
Nice ball.
On the feet of Kamaya Cole. Is there something left for Harvard Crimson? With Shira, who's been excellent at the left back position today. Combining, trying to have some of her other teammates in. Thomas.
Wowza. Wowza, wowza.
1 minute and 53 seconds left to go. Let's take a look at that one more time. Ball comes in. Trinity Thomas is there. And actually, it was hit by the local player, Kamaya Cole. And the referee stopping the clock here at 1:44 directly on the clock. So 1 minute 44 on the clock here in Negoesco Stadium. Again, if you don't have your tray table and your seat in the upright position, I'm not sure. But that being said, 2-1 for San Francisco. Harvard chasing the game. The referee does signal for a foul on the deck. 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go here at Negoesco Stadium. Now 1:25. Cathill in no rush to take this. Asking for the rest of her. Pie. Game that's been played at the highest level today. And if you ask me my opinion after this, and you probably agree with me, Joe Dugan, is both these two teams are probably going to be featured in the 64 in the NCAA tournament based on the way that this game has been. And we have had two fantastic opening round games here in San Francisco's Negoesco Stadium. So that's it here. The winning goal in the second half by Carly Weeks. It got a bit argy-bargy for San Francisco, but they did see the game through. And they did defeat Harvard by a score of 2-1.